So it's more like it should convey a sense of your personality and your goal. The reader should have the sense or should perceive who you are, what your career is, and what you intend to gain.
Hello guys, today we have a special guest with us. Her name is Amarachi Ezoke. Well, she's my sister, not just my sister, a friend. She'll be talking to us on a special topic, how to write a scholarship winning motivation letter. Where should we ask about this if not someone that has studied all through her education? Like for her bachelor's, she had a scholarship, for her master's level scholarship, and now she's doing PhD, she also has a scholarship. So I'm sure we have a lot of wisdom, a lot of tips to get from her. At this moment, let's meet our guest, Amarachi Ezoke. So Amarachi, can we get to know you, please?
Oh yeah, thank you very much. Like my brother said, my name is Amarachi Ezoke. I'm currently a PhD student in Carleton University, Ottawa, Canada. I had my master's in Leibniz University, Germany, under EAD scholarship. Then I also had my bachelor degree in Nnamdi Azikiwe University, okay, under government scholarship.
Scholarship everywhere. So guys, if you're expecting to have a scholarship for your master's studies, for your PhD studies, even your bachelor study, I'm sure you want to pay attention to this video. There's a lot to learn. How good is it to get a motivation letter? I know a lot of people that are trying to get scholarships or that are trying to even apply for normal master's program, but it's very difficult to be shortlisted. And I feel like the major cause of this is the motivation letter. How important is it to have a motivation letter, or what is even a motivation letter?
Okay, I'll start by saying what I feel or how I define a motivation letter. So to me, I define it as a sales pitch. So it's more like it should convey a sense of your personality and your goal. So when the reader goes through your motivation letter, the reader should have the sense or should perceive who you are, what your career is, and what you intend to gain from maybe the scholarship or the funding, or it could be academic or non-academic. So that's how I actually define motivation letter. And I will also say that it convinces the reader that you are kind of the ideal candidate for a particular position. And we have your CV. Your CV doesn't allow you to showcase your skills and some of your experience into detail. So here motivation letter comes in. Motivation letter allows you to showcase your skill, your experience, your personal qualities in details. And also it serves as a persuasive tool to convince the recipient of your genuine interests and your passion. Because you are not there to explain who you are. So your motivation letter explains who you are. So a well-written motivation letter would be able to convey your personality properly.
The word I picked from this is it's a sales pitch. That means you're marketing yourself. You're marketing yourself, not being present. You're marketing yourself on paper. So you must be a creative writer if you want to do that, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there a need for research before someone writes a motivation letter? Because I see a lot of people, recycling motivation letter. You see someone writing a motivation letter for a particular school and then using it for like 10 different schools. Is this something that you encourage, or should one put in some work or maybe do some research before writing a motivation letter?
Yeah, I wouldn't say you should keep writing motivation letter for every school, because I believe that you already know your career. And most of the schools you're applying to, most of the schools or courses you're applying for is similar. So there could be like some similarity in what you're applying for. So once you've written the first standard motivation letter, you can keep editing it to suit whatever the organization or whatever the school requires. So in writing a motivation letter, the first thing I encourage people to do is to keep in mind who you are writing to and what you are writing for and what they are interested in. Because this will help you tailor your motivation letter to suit what they want and also convey who you are and how you're able to fill in that particular position. And if you're going for a scholarship or like a funded program, so you need to read up about the scholarship or the funding for you to be able to incorporate, because normally there are some keywords that are required as scholarships or funding. So you also need to incorporate those keywords into your motivation letter, just to make sure it suits what they want. And another one is you also have to familiarize yourself with the funding or the scholarship application process and also the task. So you need to know how the motivation letter should be written. Do they need like a one-page motivation letter, or is it like like there is no limitation? So you also have to follow the guideline in writing a motivation letter.
That's to say, at least one should do their background check. That's the research I'm talking of. But some persons may just, take a motivation letter, just edit the name of the school, and then push it out, hoping to get the admission or maybe get the scholarship. You're hearing it right now from our sister that it's necessary to put in the good work, make some background check up the scholarship, know some keywords. What are they expecting from you? Because I see some schools, if you're applying to those schools, they give you a hint of what they expect to see on your motivation letter. And this are if you do your research, if you do your background work, you should be able to know that, and you should be able to implement it in your motivation letter. While speaking, you talked about the size of the motivation letter. So my next question was going to be, is there an ideal size of a motivation letter? Or should it be one page? Because a lot of people say one page, but it's difficult to download your entire career into one page, or your entire personality into one page. So how do one do that?
Yeah, I think for the motivation letter, it's like you said, yeah, it's very tricky compressing your whole career, academic path, your whole future plan into one page. It's not that easy. But you remember that you have to keep in mind that whoever you are writing to have other applicants. So you are not the only applicant in this situation. So nobody cares about for a 3-page autobiography. I would say that nobody cares about writing like a 3-page. Nobody has that kind of time to read like a 3-page autobiography or motivation letter about you. So it's good to keep it concise. Forget about no all these unnecessary embellishments, like you're trying to hype yourself. No, you don't have to do it. Or maybe like all this empty platitude, just trying to, in as much as you want to convey who you are, but you don't need to overdo it, like I said. So sometimes people tend to overdo it, and that's why you end up having like lots of pages. Like I'm trying to write a lot about me and all this kind of stuff. So I would say maximum like 900 words, one page, or 900 words should be maximum, or probably like a 1.5 page of a motivation letter. It's ideal. And you also have to know, when you keep in mind that each sentence should be relevant. So the key word here is just concise and also relevant. So just put these two things into consideration while writing a motivation letter.
Each word, each sentence has to be relevant. And that comes to the next thing, because if you're going to put down all your experiences or your academic journey in one page, or at maximum 900 words, that means that there should be a structure that one should follow. Is there any laid down structure you're advising, or maybe you've used in many of the motivation letters that have got you the various scholarships you have already? Are there structures that one can follow in order to have a good motivation letter?
I have a kind of a structure I follow, and I also advise people that come to me to follow this structure, because it helps to make the reader flow with what you are writing. And while writing it, you should know that the first paragraph should be able to connect with the second paragraph, should be able to connect with the first paragraph. Likewise, the other paragraph. So in writing a motivation letter, I think the first thing to do is just, you have to always start with a sketch of what your main points are. So while writing a sketch, it's kind of you want to bring across all the points and build on it. That's how it works. Then you need to have a clear and easy structure to follow, which is very important. So like you said, for the structures, I normally advise maybe like 4 or maximum 5 paragraphs is enough to write a motivation letter. And for each paragraph, you should have a particular structure, what you're talking about. Like I said, each sentence should be relevant. So each paragraph should talk about something. So for the first paragraph, you can start with you normally start with a brief introduction about you and your biggest motivation. Maybe just a little teaser of your greatest selling points, just to keep the person reading. Then after that, you go over to the paragraph, which is followed by your hard skills or your knowledge. So here comes your academic background. If you have some online courses you've done, and maybe if you're among the best in your academic background, you just have to put it there. You can say, oh, I graduated as one of the best 3% or thereabout. So in this place, you just have to incorporate all your academic background, everything about your academic career path. Then after, with relevant practical experience. So some people tend to incorporate it in the second paragraph that has to do with the hard skills and the knowledge, but sometimes it makes the paragraph too big. So you don't also need to make your paragraph too big so that you don't end up boring the reader. So you can talk about your relevant experience. If you have done IT, if you have some work experience, some voluntary work, and also how you've contributed to the goal of the organization where you have worked. And also you need to be explicit, you need to be particular about the exact knowledge you acquired and also the kind of work you did. So you don't have to generalize it. Remember, you are talking about yourself. So the person reading it should know what you are capable of doing and what you've done and the kind of knowledge you've acquired. So you don't have to make it like a general information. So you have to be exact on what you have done and the kind of experience you have. Then after which you go over to the your relevant soft skills. Maybe if you have some other skills like computer literacy, your leadership skills, networking, traveling, and other stuff. So this is where you incorporate the soft skills. And also you also have to write what you hope to learn from the or gain from this program.
Okay.
Like another, it should be the last paragraph. You talk about what you hope to learn and also gain from the program. And also you can actually chip in a bit if it's a scholarship or a funding that requires that you should have a particular skill. You also don't forget to incorporate like what you are bringing to the organization or to the lab or to the university or whatever. So you also have to incorporate that and also tell them what you hope to learn during the course of your scholarship program. And also you tell them why the scholarship or the funding it's also important for you in your career path. So you have to tell them why this scholarship would aid you in achieving your career. So I think like that this could serve as a conclusion. If you follow this step, you'll be able to write a strong motivation letter that would allow the reader to be able to flow and follow. Oh, you did this, from this you went to this, or you have this kind of experience, or you also have aside your academic life, you also have some leadership qualities or some intercultural qualities or or networking qualities. Oh, and also this is what this person can offer to the organization, and this is what you intend to learn. And I think with that, you already it tells a lot of who you are. It just gives a summary of who you are. Yeah.
Oh, I think you've actually dished out a lot of information here. Talking about the structures from the introduction to the second paragraph being showing your skills, your knowledge, and then to moving down to the relevant practical experiences you've gained, to your soft skills, and maybe if you have some hobby that are relevant to what you're doing, you're still naming them because they want to know you personally outside the work, especially when it's like PhD scholarship or something. You'll be working closely with some professors, so they need to know the kind of personality you have and if you're the kind of person they can work with. Then you also talked about the aim of the scholarship. What do you expect to gain from the scholarship? What do you expect to gain from the university? Many people just write normal motivation letter without stating what they are bringing, the value they are also bringing to the table. I think mentioning the value you are bringing to the table also gives you a good edge. So I overheard someone in one of the YouTube videos talking about if you're writing a motivation letter, sometimes it's good also to mention some professors. If you're writing to a particular university, to a particular department, that you know a professor working on a topic you're interested in. Is that also important? Do you think it will give an edge?
I don't think it gives a personal edge because now you don't know this professor and the professor literally don't know you. So there are so many things out there that you can read up and maybe you want to be like this person or you're about. So I would actually say it doesn't actually give a necessary edge. For example, like a PhD that normally comes with like a funded program, like you have to liaise with your supervisor before you get the program. So normally you need to have a talk with your supervisor first, whoever you want to supervise you. So you actually need to speak with your supervisor. The supervisor will get to know you. Then in that course, while writing your motivation letter, applying to the school, then you can actually mention the name of the supervisor.
Oh, okay, okay. When you've established that contact already.
Yeah, with the supervisor, you should just try and establish a contact with your supervisor or with whoever you feel like you're interested to work under the person's supervision. You can actually write to the person, oh, I enjoyed this your work, and I'm looking at writing to the school for a scholarship, so maybe I want him or her to supervise you, even if the person doesn't have the funding and you're sure of getting like a funding from the school. You can write to them, and if they accept, then it's fine. Then while writing your motivation letter, you can actually even include it in your motivation letter that you've already spoken to this professor and he have accepted to be your supervisor. But aside from that, you don't actually need, this is your personal motivation letter. This is you. So you should dwell more on you and not maybe like an external body. That's what I would have to say about that. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Lastly, I want to know, is it necessary or is it how important is it to have your motivation letter proofread by a professor or maybe a professional? Well, having a second eye look at it, they may actually detect some things you missed, which will give you an edge too. So is that a good move?
Yeah, I think it's actually a good move. So if you're writing for a particular scholarship, I would advise you look for scholars that already attained those scholarship. Then you can just ask them to help you go through your motivation letter, because these people have written their motivation letter and they know it's more like, oh, my motivation letter is good for me to get the scholarship. So they can be able to tell you what you need to put out there in your motivation letter. And not just that, sometimes when you write something, you think you have written well, like you said. But when you need like a second person to be able to tell you, oh, you did well, and to find out where you have some problem, maybe where you have some grammatical errors or some points that they feel that are not relevant, this kind of. So I feel like I would say giving out your motivation letter to a second person, it's highly recommended. If not for any, it's just to get view from another person. So even while writing or while sending out your motivation letter to a scholar, you should be open to criticism.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very nice.
that because whatever they tell you, you don't have to take it personal. Just know that this person wants the best from you. So don't say that, oh, this person is too hard on me, or this person doesn't like this. So whatever you get, just say it like, just take it as a constructive criticism and improve. With that, you can get to your peak.
Okay, yeah, that's very necessary. If someone corrects you and gives you a good guideline on how to improve on what you've written, then you have no choice but to take that, because they are where you want to be. If they have not gotten where you want to be, then you can actually try to question what they have said.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Amawachi, for sharing this opportunity with us. I'm sure that anyone looking at as in viewing this video right now has gotten a lot of information regarding writing a scholarship winning motivation letter. I just have two requests to make. If you can help us with this, first of all, a lot of people watching this right now will be like, I have written my motivation letter. I wanted that scholarship, or I want a scholarship for my PhD. Is it possible that we can get across to you? If someone wants to review the motivation letter, can they actually get across to you to me or to your social media channels if you're free to contact with us? And you can help them review this letter. Is that offer open?
Yeah, I am glad to helping people. So it's something I can do, and I don't mind.
Okay. Okay. So guys, we'll be dropping Instagram or Facebook.
It depends. You can drop my email address. You can drop my Instagram handle. You can drop my LinkedIn. Yeah,
Okay.
just that they are from you or they're about, or they just want me to review their motivation letter. Then we can just talk about it. It's actually free, so don't get scared that I'm charging something I do free. So it's not a problem.
Okay, so guys, we'll be dropping her LinkedIn address in the description of this video. So feel free to chat her up. I'll also be dropping my email address also in the description of this video. You can send it to my email. I can always get across to her. We want the best for you. Remember, in this channel, all my prayer, all my wish is that you prosper, even as your soul prospers. In case you're applying for international scholarships, in case you're applying for PhD or master's program, not necessarily a scholarship, and you've written a motivation letter, feel free to allow us to look at it and go through it and make some corrections. Do you have any other information or highlights you want to throw? Maybe anything on your mind for the viewers?
Yeah, nothing much. I would just say like, as you're writing your motivation letter, just try and be honest too. That's just it. Honest, because it makes you consistent. I know some people write a lot, so just try and give it your best. It takes a while. Motivation letter, it's not easy to write. I would say that some days it can be frustrating, but till you win, we will never give up.
Yeah, till you win, you will never give up. That's the last word. And also the last keynote is be honest. You don't have to hype yourself, but don't overhype yourself. If you can't do it, say I cannot do it. You understand? Because when you start working with the professors and when they ask you, okay, do this, and then you start flopping, then who knows? You may actually lose the scholarship or lose the position. So be honest and keep it concise. Don't allow it to be more than 900 words, 1 page to 1.5 pages of motivation letter. And feel free to get across to Amarachi or to myself. She already has 3 scholarships. Imagine. Like, she's studying for free. Not for free, because she has put a lot of work to get those scholarships. She has put a lot of work to get those scholarships. So bachelor's, master's, PhD. You too can do that. If you got value from this video, feel free to comment, like, and share with your friends. Thank you, and see you in the next video.